Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Transfer Portal Podcast presented by NoContextCFB. Today, there's not that much news. Last week, we had the Jordan Addison and Nick Saban versus Jimbo Fisher cage fight, but in the last few days, there's been relatively nothing going on in the college football world, which is good because that means that something's gonna happen because that's how this world works. Doug, how are we doing today?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Like, finally got a breather after the crazy week this past week, but feuds don't die in college football. They just evolve. So Nick Saban and Jimbo evolving. Probably next thing you know, be Kirby and Muschamp falling out. You never know. Saban just creates hate. So never know.
Dabo versus the transfer portal. Not us. Hopefully he doesn't hate us.
Hopefully. Even though I definitely have crapped on Clemson at some points, but yeah, no, hopefully Dabo doesn't hate us.
I've crapped on DJ so many times, but big fans, Dabo. Big fans. Come on our podcast.
Just please recruit offensive line, Dabo, because what you had last year is just borderline atrocious. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't even use the word borderline. But we might actually be talking about Saban versus Jimbo a little bit today because we are making our college football road trip. We're going to be going to, 14 total games because there's week 0 through week 13, and then I guess conference championship, and then obviously Army Navy week 15.
We can also pick a bowl game if you want.
I mean,
that'd be fun.
I'm going to the Rose Bowl, so
I know Minnesota isn't, but
you'd be surprised. But we're gonna make our ideal college football road trip. Some rules: you can only go to a home stadium once, and you can only see a team twice. I don't know how much of the rules I followed because now I'm looking at it. I believe I have every home stadium once, but you know what? We're going to just follow wherever the heck we go. Let's start with week 0. I believe we are going to have the same location for this one, Doug. Am I correct in saying that?
Yep. Give me Vandy at Hawaii. I want that vacation. It's going to be nice. Football's going to be okay-ish, but bro, on the beach. Granted, it's not the main island that they're at, but I need to relax. And the only other place that I would consider is Ireland, which would also be fun too.
Surprised you didn't say Ireland. College football in Ireland. I mean, I'm 100% going to Dublin. Of course, once again, I've probably already said this 3 times. I apologize to the people of Ireland that we're sending you Nebraska versus Northwestern. That game's going to suck. I mean,
and that is why I did not choose that game because I'm sorry, okay. Kenzie, but I chose Vandy, but at the same time,
Vandy and Hawaii.
But like Hawaii, you can enjoy coastal weather. In Ireland, they eat haggis.
Yeah, but Ireland is also like one of the most beautiful countries.
It is beautiful. I'll give them that.
I will say probably the most annoying thing about that will be the flight. I hate long flights.
That bad, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know what? We're going to do this live. How long is a flight from MSP to Dublin?
I'd like to apologize to Ireland. Haggis is Scottish, not Irish. I apologize to that, but haggis is borderline disgusting. I'm sorry.
Once again, don't need to use the word borderline. About 8-hour flight from Minneapolis to Dublin, and Minneapolis is pretty close to.
That's not the worst. 8 isn't too bad.
Yeah, I've been on like 4-hour flights and it's awful. So, I mean,
8-hour international is fine. Like I've done 8-hour internationals before, but like
it's also one of the closest international flights you can have that's not in North America.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're going to Vanderbilt at Hawaii. I'm going to Nebraska versus Northwestern. So very different matchups. So let's just move on to week 1. Those, by the way, are probably the only ones you would consider going to week 0, unless you want to go to El Paso, Texas, which, no offense, I don't want to go to El Paso. Week 1, the first real week of college football where real teams play college football. Doug, where are you going?
Atlanta, Georgia. Give me Georgia, Oregon. Sorry, Dylan. We're going to beat y'all. But got to start our season on the high, man. Got to go to Atlanta, enjoy Labor Day weekend. It's going to be fun. It's probably like my most intriguing matchup, even because it's a former coach coming home in terms of teams. It's also Bo Nix, and he's going to lose to us again. Apologize, University of Oregon fans, if you actually see him against an actual defense. It's not pretty, but it is pretty fun for me.
You're going to Atlanta to see your team play. I'm going to go to Pitt. West Virginia at Pitt, the backyard brawl. I believe it's actually on Thursday. It is on Thursday instead of Saturday. So you know what? Maybe we could squeak in a second game. We're not going to try and do that, even though it would be very easy. Probably could see 3 games. I mean, we're close to Pitt. That's on Friday. Duke, Old Dominion,
Indiana. You're not making that trip unless you I've driven to West Virginia. You're not making that trip down to the Carolinas / Old Dominions like Norfolk. You're not making that trip. You will be out of it.
What about Indiana? What if you just start driving after the game, though?
Yeah, but you got to deal with out-of-game traffic, leaving.
Yeah, well, I mean, to get from Pitt to Indiana, you just got to drive through Ohio.
I mean, you'll be fine, but also it's tiring. You can do a Thursday, Saturday, or a Friday, Monday, or even a Saturday, Monday. But back-to-back days, unless it's right there, you can do a Eastern Michigan, same day. You can do most of the Michigan, if it's in state, you can do it back-to-back days. But I'm saying out of state, unless say, for example, it's Maryland UVA, which is 3 hours, you're not doing that. I'm just saying, because your body will hate you for it.
It already hates me after going to 1 college football game, let alone having 3 in a row. Appreciate it, Minnesota. But yeah, backyard brawl, downgraded Pitt team from last year going into this year. It's going to be an upgraded West Virginia team going into this year. Should be a fun matchup. Always a lot of hate. Gotta love hate. It's a beautiful thing in the sport.
Amen. Amen.
So West Virginia at Pitt for me. You have Oregon at Georgia in Atlanta. Week 2. Interesting week because there are some matchups where it's that seems kind of interesting. And if you don't mind, I'm going to go first on this one. I'm going to
go for it.
Houston at Texas Tech. Last year, Houston was the only, or should I say, Texas Tech was Houston's only loss outside of Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. Houston beats Texas Tech, which, by the way, Houston was a much better team than Texas Tech last year.
Absolutely.
That Houston versus Cincinnati game is probably for a playoff spot. Imagine if Houston wins that game. How many times would Andrew and Adam bring it up?
They would, but then Houston would also somewhere trip up again. I think that they'll be fine this year. I'm not saying it, but how Houston is. They'll trip up somewhere. Just the sheer nature, no team's perfect. And Cincinnati should take somewhat of a step back, but yeah, no, it's a good choice. I think also it's a year 1 under Joey McGuire. So Texas Tech will be rebuilding a bit, but I do like the energy that he's bringing to the program. It feels like year 2 or year 3, I could see an upset, which is crazy because Houston is the G5 and then the P5 is Texas Tech. But look at Cincinnati, where they beat both Notre Dame and also Indiana. So sometimes G5s are better than P5s. In this case, so it's a good choice. I like it. For me, this is hard. Like I said, you know me, I always tell you guys, I don't prep. It's easier to think off the dome. I will go Missouri at Kansas State. Big 12, former rivals, not rivals, but their former teams reuniting. It goes in the vein of the likes of Nebraska, Oklahoma, the likes of all these former conference rivals facing each other. I know your face is what the fuck are you saying? But
exactly.
No, I just like former rivals, not rivals, but you know what I mean? Former conference foes reuniting. And it's also one of it so I can preserve a lot of my choices down the line. So you're not going to shoot a perfect 100%. And there might be times where I want to go see, actually, run it back. Cancel that. Yeah, rewind. Cy-Hawk Trophy, Iowa State, Iowa.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Rivalry game. Yeah, no, classic. Both teams perennial underachievers. Both have high hopes. Both end up going 8-5. But to see one team's hopes die pretty early is very entertaining. So I'll go with that one. I apologize. Missouri, Kansas State. This is what happens when I don't research. I just see the first names I look up and boom.
Yeah. I was going to say, what the heck is there to do in Manhattan, Kansas?
Nothing. Not a damn thing.
Kansas State football.
Not a damn thing.
To be fair, there's also not much to do in Iowa, but those teams hate each other.
Exactly. Plus, they get a lot of beer. So I like beer.
I love beer, even though I've never had a sip of it in my entire life. Is that game?
You've had root beer. It is in Iowa City.
Ooh. Yeah, I'd probably rather it in Iowa City as much as I hate Iowa, which I will talk about them a little bit later. You may know why. Week 3. Doug, where are we going?
Week 3, there is a very intriguing matchup that we start off Florida State and Louisville. That is not where I'm going. Let me just take a quick scroll.
Do you want me to just go first on these so that you have a little bit of time to look over?
Yeah, but actually, I got my answer. Oh. And unfortunately, I got to go to this awful institution, but it's the second game of the home and home between Penn State and Auburn. At Jordan Hare running it back. I need Penn State to win. And if I'm at Auburn, I'll just wear red. And they won't know what shade of red it is. They'll just see hate, and I'll win. Because that's what we do at Georgia. We win. But, yeah, no, it's going to be a pretty entertaining game. Last year's game was pretty entertaining. Harsin, year 2, should have a step up to 7-5. But sorry.
That's a heck of a step up.
Yeah, no, I got to throw him a bone because I always end up shitting on him. But, yeah, no. And then Penn State's Penn State. They'll always be in the hunt for, at worst, a Citrus Bowl, and then at best, a year 6 shot. So it's going to be a very entertaining game, and you could have a rematch at some point in the future at a Citrus Bowl. So,
yeah, I think Auburn's going to suck. So I'm going to go to the West Coast. West Coast football is back. Not that team, not the other team. I'm going to go to Oregon. BYU at Oregon. Obviously, Oregon plays Georgia, but I really want to see Dan Lanning versus Kalani Sitake. It could be an interesting game. I think both teams are going to be – I think Oregon's going to be good. I think BYU can be really good.
Yeah.
And seeing this game at Autzen, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I really like BYU going into the year. I like Oregon going into the year. I feel like this could be a primetime-esque game. I don't know if it's going to be the primetime slot, but maybe if it's like a 7 o'clock or probably like 8 or 9 o'clock kick on Fox.
It could be, yeah, it could be the late game on Fox, the 8 o'clock Eastern. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good shout. It's a good shout. Perfectly good choice.
Imagine if this was Pac-12 after dark. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah, no. Like, I've seen so many BYU crazy BYU games last year because of them. But crazy how they ran the gauntlet. But
yeah, BYU did, I believe, beat all but one team in the Pac-12 last year.
I was trying to say 2010.
I can't remember, but that's going to be and just imagine the atmosphere. I tried to go off the atmosphere for a lot of these games.
They beat all of them. They just ended up losing to Boise somehow, bad Baylor, and then UAB at the bowl game. But yeah, no, they ran through the table out of the Pac-12. So
BYU is a gauntlet this year. So
yeah,
gonna be fun to watch. Week 4, James Madison at App State. Yep.
You are not going to Boone, North Carolina. I know you're not going to Boone, North Carolina.
Have you ever seen that stadium?
Oh, it's a gorgeous stadium.
It's gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Especially in the autumn, all the colorful trees, the overview shot of the stadium. Get to see a new FBS program and James Madison going up against App State, who's going to have a talented team. Oh my gosh, I'm going there. No shot. I'm not going to App State this year.
Okay, no, that's a good choice. My first choice would have been Wisconsin against Ohio State, but Ohio State's at home, and they're at home for the game this year, so that's automatically a no. I am going with another rivalry game. I love rivalries. A revival of the Black Diamond Trophy, West Virginia at Virginia Tech. It's just great to see these being played. West Virginia was playing Pitt and Virginia Tech, two of their longstanding rivals. It's just beautiful. Like it's actually at Virginia Tech because last time they played, it was at Landover Field. FedEx Field in Landover. But yeah, no, it's Thursday night. It's Big East tradition. Like they're just living it up. In terms of how the teams will be, the quality is probably going to be okay. It's not anything special, but the atmosphere is probably going to be electric because it's like the first home and home in ages for these teams.
Actually, they played at West Virginia last year.
Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, remember Virginia Tech versus West Virginia last year? It was early in the season.
Am I tripping? Because I remember Will Greer, they played. I remember that game was at Landover.
I remember that, but they played last year. West Virginia won.
They did, and I blacked that game out of my memory.
Sucked.
Yeah, no, I apologize, guys. Like, I'm an awful person here. Yeah, but like I said, it's a return of home then. See, another one. Boom. I got to prepare more, y'all.
From Virginia Tech, we go to Death Valley. Not the real Death Valley. We're going to go to the fake Death Valley. NC State at Clemson. Last year, NC State took down Clemson, and Clemson, they had a good year, but not to their standards. This could be a rebound game for Clemson, or this could be a fall-off game for Clemson. I have written in my notes, this is going to be primetime, no matter what. Devin Leary, great NC State team. Clemson, massive name. They're going to get the primetime slot. But this is DJ Uiagalele's legacy game. If he does not win this game, I have a prediction. Week 6 goes to Cade Klubnik.
I honestly don't even think he makes it to week 6, to be honest with you.
I think he does just based off of Dabo not wanting to seem like he took him out too early.
But the thing is, like, you know what happened with Kelly Bryant, with Trevor. They pulled him, like, early.
Yeah. But I think they're going to try and hold on to what DJ did against Notre Dame, what he did against Boston College in 2020. Last year wasn't good, but if we're being honest, he didn't have a good offense line and his receivers could not separate to save their lives. If that doesn't improve this year, I think they'll give him the benefit of the doubt for a few weeks, but then they'll be like, okay, show us something. This is where you need to show it on the big stage, prime time, big opponent, one of the best teams in the ACC. If you can't do it here, you can't do it at Clemson.
So, question. So, I'm looking at the schedules right now. You got the week wrong for that one. That's week 5. Yep.
Yeah, that's week 5.
I thought we were talking about week 4. What did you choose for week 4, then?
We just did week 4.
Oh, you chose? Okay, I forgot you're starting. I'm an idiot. Sorry.
This is going off the rails.
It is. And my choice, actually, for week 5, I will go Oklahoma at TCU.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So Oklahoma.
It's first year coaches for both Brent Venables and Sonny Dykes. And like the Big 12, honestly, I think is pretty open outside of Baylor and like everything else. Like Oklahoma State, I think will take a step back. I could also choose Oklahoma State at Baylor because it's the same game that week, but I'm more intrigued by the first year head coach matchups. And I'm just trying to see how both teams deal with roster attrition and additions. And I just like it more than Oklahoma State at Baylor. I'm sorry.
That makes sense. You think Oklahoma State's going to take a step back. I think Baylor's going to take a pretty decent step back. So obvious reasons for not going there. Week 6, I kind of have to pick this one.
Go for it.
A&M at Alabama.
Yeah, but we're just going to agree on that. There's really not much. There's really not much else to say.
I think there is another game that week. I'm going to double check, but
Red River. It's Red River. That's the only other game that week. Oh yeah, and Auburn or Georgia. Damn, this week's loaded.
I don't care about Red River this year.
I don't, but then
like this is easily the most underwhelming Oklahoma team in a long time. Like,
but I still think that they could probably. I think they can match this year's record. Last year's record, to be honest.
Yeah, there's just not enough firepower. Like Dylan Gabriel, good quarterback. Brett Venables, good quarterback. Not a quarterback. Good coach. Is he a head coach?
We're off the rails. We're off the rails.
Yeah. Apparently, Brett Venables is starting head coach or starting quarterback. I can't talk right now. You know what? Screw Oklahoma. It's not like Oklahoma fans haven't already heard that from everything about USC this year. I'm going to A&M at Alabama. Too much on the line. Alabama lost last year. This year it's at Bryant-Denny. Alabama should be a title favorite, or at least one of. A&M doesn't know who their quarterback is right now. Alabama should realistically win this game by a good margin, but we also said that last year about Zach Calzada starting at A&M, which, by the way, I'm going to have a spoiler. I'm not picking the Iron Bowl, but Alabama should be a little scared about Auburn this year. Just a little.
It's Tuscaloosa, right, this year?
It is in Tuscaloosa. Is it?
If it's Tuscaloosa, then Alabama's going to win by triple digits.
I'm just saying that they underestimated Zach Calzada last year in the one game he played well.
Yeah, it's in Tuscaloosa. Just give me Alabama. Alabama spread.
I'll take Alabama spread, which, by the way, is in week 13, and we're on week 6 or 7 now.
Yeah, we're just talking about it because of Calzada.
Agree on week 6.
Yeah, there's really not much really to say. Like, it's just the juiciest thing. As much as I want to pick Auburn and Georgia, I got to say my Georgia pick for the eventual SEC championship game. Because I already used once for Georgia, Oregon, and cocktail party is going to suck this year. So
it's going to suck. Florida, you suck.
Stanky.
This week 7's another obvious one to me. USC, Utah.
Really?
I think that's obvious. USC becoming a very good team. I don't think they're a powerhouse, but I think they're a very good team with a lot of talent on it. Utah, a playoff possible team. Whittingham, amazing coach. Cam Rising, great quarterback. I can't talk right now. You know what? Utah's got a great team. USC's got a talented team. It's going to be a fun game in Utah. I'm sorry. I can't talk right now.
Yeah, you're going there. I am going to the great state of Utah, but not USC Utah. I'm going Arkansas at BYU.
Ooh.
It is a fresh matchup. Great teams, very entertaining teams to watch last year. I believe Arkansas returns a decent amount of star firepower outside of Burks. I just love it. Like, we don't get matchups of BYU teams over East, like the Southeast, like that. Like last time it was Tennessee, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I probably am wrong, but it was BYU Tennessee. Remember the year that Tennessee kept on losing funny ways?
Yeah,
I mean that's all the time. But we really don't get that matchup too much. But Arkansas at BYU is a fresh matchup that I definitely want to see. It'll be a good time.
So I'm going to Utah. You're going to be by yourself in BYU. Do you know what it's called when you're by yourself in BYU?
What?
Prove alone.
All right, next. We're moving on. Next.
I'm sorry. It was right there. I had to.
It's good, but next. No.
Next, week 8. I'm going to go Texas at Oklahoma State. Texas is going to be a fun team to watch. I think Oklahoma State's going to be good. Probably not as good as last year, but their defense should still be really good. Big game for both teams. Could decide who's the Big 12 favorite.
Alrighty. I will go UCLA at Oregon.
Ooh.
So, yeah, UCLA at Oregon.
It's always a good team. Or always a good game.
It is a good game. And Chip Kelly actually decided to build a team where shit. It's just that they got to actually learn how to close out games and not be stupid. That's the big thing. Oregon, like we talked about earlier, I did not expect to pick Oregon twice. Dan Lanning, definitely watch under him. If Bo Nix loses against another good team, I will laugh for days. I'm just really intrigued by the Pac-12 and their matchups this year. So,
yeah. So, relatively quick week. Let's move on to week 9. This one is so obvious to me because I think this is an obvious situation for the best atmosphere in college football. Ohio State at Penn State. I'm going to call that to be a whiteout.
Yeah.
I'm going. That's on my bucket list. Not even just a college bucket list. That's just bucket list.
I'll go with because I want to save Ohio State for the big game. So I'll go with an actual different matchup. I'll use the same division. Give me Michigan State, Michigan.
Ooh.
At Ann Arbor.
And it's in Ann Arbor this year. That game last year was insane. Kenneth Walker should have gone to New York off that game alone.
It's insane. Like, think about it. Michigan State won it at the end. turnover. Michigan's hungry. They want it back. And they had probably their most successful season since 2006. And it's just that the hunger. Will Mel Tucker live up to that contract? Will Harbaugh live up to that contract? Will both these teams actually bounce back? And because people don't have either one, people don't have at least Michigan State coming back to the year 6. And then people will have Michigan kind of on that bubble. So it's like, can these teams live up to their expectations that they paid? And on top of that, it's an actual rivalry. So give me those two.
They play for Paul Bunyan, which is the second best trophy named after Paul Bunyan.
Yeah, they got to switch a name. There's too many Paul Bunyans. There's
only one trophy that matters when it comes to Paul Bunyan.
All right.
I mean, am I wrong?
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm not saying you're right either.
I'm right. I'll say it.
All right.
It's just the Axe. The Axe only. And there's only one team that can have it, and it's the best team. Week 10, I'm going to have my first duplicate team. We've been to App State. Now we're going to go visit Coastal Carolina. App State at Coastal Carolina. Teal Field with Bad Blood.
Okay. I like that. To be honest, not a lot is jumping at me at this slate. It's like the beginning of action, which is great. I actually might double dip on a mid-major.
Ooh.
Although they're not going to be a mid-major soon. Give me the classic BYU Boise State rivalry in Boise. Last year, Boise upset BYU, kind of ruined one of their chances to go to the playoff, although they kind of capitulated at the end, BYU did. But yeah, no, I am definitely intrigued by this rivalry. I'm a big rivalry guy. And it was either basically that or Air Force Army. And as much as all the troops, I am not watching that.
There's only one game with the troops I'll be watching standalone this year.
Absolutely.
Navy.
Yep.
So next week, week 11. This week, honestly, if I remember correctly, this might be the worst week.
It's not week 0.
Okay, well, the first actual awful week of full college football. Week 0 doesn't count because
all right, that's
that place is Hawaii.
Okay.
But like week 11, you've got some awful games. Obviously, there's Maction, which we all love. But then like Pitt, Virginia, yuck. Even though those teams could be interesting. I'm looking at the schedule and it reeks. Like Notre Dame, Navy in Baltimore. Woohoo. Like LSU, Arkansas.
I mean, that's the boot usually produces good matchups.
The boot, but if it was in Baton Rouge, I'd consider it, but it's not. I don't want to go to Arkansas. No offense, but
it's not fun. I went there when I was in Memphis and I crossed the wrong part. Yeah. Anyways.
So this week I'm going to go a little off the rails. I'm going to go North Carolina at Wake Forest. Last year was a great game. Wake Forest was like top 10 in the country and they were like 7-point dogs to an unranked North Carolina that ended up winning. Sam Hartman revenge game against the Tar Heels. They'll take it this year.
I like that. So I'm looking at it. You're right. The slate is generally not good. Hopefully I have a friend's wedding so that way I can just watch it on my phone rather than spend my day dedicated to this. I myself I don't think I selected Alabama yet, have I? Outside of it was in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. A&M.
Okay, Tuscaloosa. In Tuscaloosa. Okay. That's in Tuscaloosa. Give me Alabama Ole Miss at Ole Miss. Yeah, so I like Jackson Dart a lot with Lane, the potential there. They got to get a few transfers. I mean, Alabama should still win, but like you said, the slate isn't great, and I'm not picking Iron Bowl, so like I'm just going to burn Alabama. Yeah, so let's burn it.
Yeah, so there goes Alabama and Ole Miss. On to week 12. I'm going to let you go first because I feel like my week 12 is kind of obvious to some people if they know me.
Yeah, all right. So I'm looking at week 12. Oh my goodness, Georgia Tech and North Carolina is criminal. Yeah. This is a very, very, slate. Oh, never mind. No. So I picked them once. I'll burn it here. Bedlam.
Oh.
Bedlam. You know what? Every time somebody says Bedlam, crazy.
Yeah.
Oklahoma lost to Oklahoma State finally for the first time in like a decade. They want that revenge. Oklahoma State's trying not to be the little brother anymore. But
yeah,
that game is the one to watch out for.
There's some interesting games on the West Coast. USC at UCLA. If UCLA is really good, that could be an interesting one at the Rose Bowl. Utah at Oregon, if Oregon's competitive with Utah. But everyone who knows me knows that it's all about one team. Just committed. If it shows, can't fit it over my hat. Row the boat. PJ, win the dang pig.
Floyd of Rosedale.
Floyd of Rosedale, one of the best trophies in all of college football. We're going to win it back this year. At home, Huntington Bank Stadium. I'm going to storm the field again because you know what? 2 years in a row, got to love it. Take down those stupid Hawkeyes. I hope we rip their eyes out, win 59-2.
I miss actually. We never stormed the field at Maryland. It actually kind of hurts. But then again, I don't claim that school. Georgia, we don't storm fields because we have national titles. Anyways, but yeah, no, it's a good choice. It's a good choice. So we're done there, and then it's rivalry week.
Rivalry week. Try saying that 5 times fast.
Yeah, no, my mouth dries up every time I try to say it. That's going to get taken out of context at some point, but anyways.
No context T portal. Someone make it.
Yeah. Yep. I've mentioned this game so many times. Michigan, Ohio State.
Yeah.
The game. The revenge. Like, that's why I was avoiding the Penn State whiteout. I was avoiding a lot of these other games. But no, this is the one. It really is the one because most of the other big games are not necessarily on your radar. Like, to be honest, Florida State should be the fact that it's on a Friday.
Shows how bad it is.
Like, bro, it's a Friday, 7:30. Like, to be honest, I mean, they put the game on SEC Network before. Like, that's how bad that rivalry is nowadays. Neither team's good at the same time. They're just stanky. But yeah, other than that, like most of these rivalry games are just weird. Neither team's great at the same time, or it's just, yeah.
Yeah, this comes down to 2 games for me. I'm not going to pick the game because I think Michigan is not going to be elite, and I think Ohio State is going to murder them, even though that would be a fun offensive onslaught to watch from CJ Stroud and company. It's between 2 games for me. It's between the Egg Bowl, which is at Ole Miss.
Great choice. Great choice.
I mute my phone because it's going freaking bonkers. And
Wilson.
What?
Bro, like, yeah, put your shit on Do Not Disturb, man. Be recording.
I didn't realize my phone would be blowing up. I apologize. And then
you're popular, bro.
Up for debate. And then the second game, Washington at Washington State.
Ooh, Apple Cup.
I want to go to the Apple Cup. I'm going to the Apple Cup. If the Egg Bowl was in Starkville like it was last year, or technically next year, I would go to the Egg Bowl because that's one of my favorite rivalries. So much hate. I mean, they literally will rip their heads off. But I want to watch Cam Ward play football because he is my sleeper Heisman pick. He is amazing. He was amazing at Incarnate Word. He's going to be great at Washington State. I think Washington State takes down Washington. Not relatively easy, but it won't be like a 3-point or 4-point game. And the game's at Wazoo.
That's a good choice. I'm surprised you didn't decide to go to Camp Randall this year.
The thing is, there's a flood warning in Camp Randall because so many Wisconsin Tears, but
fight back, Andrew. Fight back.
What do you mean?
No, I'm talking about other Andrew, not you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, last year he did say that I would be depressed after the game, and yeah, I was anything but. I was anything but.
Yeah, no, like
so. Week 14. We're going to predict a conference championship and go to that game because you know what? Why the heck not? Doug, where are you going?
I can't go to the SEC title game, so I can't do Alabama, Georgia because I already picked Atlanta. Can't go to Indianapolis because I did Ohio State twice. So I will go to make sure the ACC championship game is not because they rotate sites sometimes, but it's probably in Charlotte. Okay, yeah, it's in Charlotte. Yep, so it's in Charlotte. So give me. I am just doing some quick research because the ACC does not have divisions on location. It is coastal and Atlantic, and it is very confusing for my brain when I try to think and talk at the same time. So I don't think it'll be NC State.
No,
because they always do this thing where people like them and end up being 9-3 and 8-4.
Yep.
It's just that their thing. So give me Wake Forest.
Wake Forest, all right.
Coastal just reeks.
Coastal's also just not. Oh, you're talking about the Coastal Division. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Coastal Carolina.
No. Give me Wake Forest, Miami. Should be. Like, I'm honest, to be honest, let me just read you the teams in the Coastal Division. Duke, first-year head coach. Georgia Tech sucks.
Yuck.
Miami, first-year head coach, but they're also talented. North Carolina, Mac Brown's is geriatric, but they're also talented outside the offensive line, which sucks. Breaking in a new quarterback, too. Pitt, breaking in a new quarterback, very talented, but they lost Mark Whipple, they lost Addison, they lost Pickett. Decent amount of return production, but that's probably Miami's biggest threat. Virginia, first-year head coach. Bernard Armstrong's a dog, but first-year head coach. Virginia Tech, first-year head coach, kind of mid. It's not a great division, y'all. So, you're honestly better at pulling straws than you would be at predicting who would win this. So I'm just going Miami, Wake Forest. Wake Forest is going to make the orange if it is not a playoff, but if it is a playoff, then whatever replacement bowl. But yeah, no, I want to see that. I think Wake Forest, Tyler Van Dyke, and Sam Hartman will create an offensive show. It's going to be amazing, and Wake wants to come back and win the ACC title. Also, side note, Wake Forest has more ACC championship game appearances than Miami. Also, side note, Wake Forest has more ACC titles than Miami. Also, side note, Miami has less ACC titles than Georgia Tech. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all, but Miami is very sad up until now. I think they actually got their shit together. But yeah, ACC title game, go.
Hopefully. College football is so much fun to watch when Miami is really good, especially those old Miami teams. Mm-hmm. And hopefully they get a nice stadium because Hard Rock, no offense, sucks. It's an awful venue for college football. It's good for the Super Bowl, which, by the way, the Super Bowl is nowhere close to a college football game because atmosphere at college football is so much better than the NFL.
It's not corporate.
Yep. So you're going to the ACC title game where Miami will face Wake Forest. I'm going to Indianapolis, where the Ohio State Buckeyes will face the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And that's not even a biased take. I actually think Minnesota's winning the West this year. I was looking down. Wisconsin's looking down. Purdue is always said to be a spoiler/sleeper, yet they never get there. Northwestern's good every other year, so in theory, they should be good this year, but what tells you that they're good this year?
Fun fact, Northwestern's made more Big Ten title games than Minnesota.
Yeah, so?
I'm sorry, I'm just being a fun fact guy right now. I'm being an asshole.
Yes, you are. But Minnesota returns a lot of pieces from one of the best defenses in the country last year. They returned Kirk Shiraka as their offensive coordinator, who was pretty much the main reason that they were good in 2019, especially on offense. Hopefully Tanner Morgan is good. Oh, and let's talk about the best running back in the nation, Mo Ibrahim.
He wouldn't even be on Georgia's depth chart. I'm sorry.
He's such a bad take.
That is not a bad take. It's a homer and factual take.
It's a homer and unfactual because Mo Ibrahim, I'll give him at least top 3. But I mean,
he's not better than Edwards. He's not better than Deshaun Edwards.
Edwards, why am I blanking?
He was our 5th string running back last year, but because Cook and White ended up going pro, he's our 3rd string now.
Mo Ibrahim is, I would say, the only running backs that are in Mo's tier are Jahmyr Gibbs, Travion Henderson, and you could say Bijan. I'm not the highest on Bijan.
Yeah, he kind of. I mean, but he got tired at the end, so I'm not really gonna fault him.
I'm not fault just last year, but Mo Ibrahim is a top 3 running back in the nation. That's Like, can we talk about how he had 160 yards in 2.5 quarters?
It's I mean, it's tough. It's tough.
And then if you look at Minnesota's schedule, which I will, because you know what, why not? Because I'm so on this bandwagon that Minnesota is going to win 10 games in the regular season.
Oh, also, Sean Tucker's better.
Okay. Better tweeter.
I hate Sean Tucker, man.
I don't hate Sean Tucker. He's a talented running back, but Mo Ibrahim's a top 3 running back in the nation.
Sean Tucker's right there.
Sean Tucker's top 10.
10?
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like that's a bad thing. He's top 10. You could say top 7 or 8.
Okay.
I don't think that's outlandish.
Okay. So like when I can finally put down a list and I'll think off the top of my head, then I can disagree with you. But until that point, go ahead.
Minnesota has 3 easy non-conference games: Colorado, New Mexico State, and Western Illinois. That's an easy 3-0. I think Michigan State's going to take a step back. I think Penn State's not going to be that good. Those are 2 best out of division teams that they'll play. And then they'll play Wisconsin and Iowa. They'll probably split those games. They'll lose one game to like Purdue, Illinois. I don't think they lose to Nebraska. Like they'll lose one game they shouldn't, because that's how Minnesota football always is.
Yeah.
But 10-2 is very realistic in my opinion.
Okay. That's fair. It's fair. Like you say, your schedule's pretty weak. I mean, it's granted it's scheduling. Yeah, it's scheduling of a coward team, but that's beside the point. But
we scheduled this like 8 years ago when we sucked.
Yeah, but you got to play with the big dogs, man. You got to schedule tough. I mean, Cincinnati be having better schedules than you.
I mean, Cincinnati is also a playoff team.
That's true. That is true. Alrighty.
I don't know why we don't schedule better non-conference. That's a different argument, though.
Yeah, that's true.
But week 15, there's one game.
Yep.
Army-Navy in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best games in all of sports.
Absolutely.
So that is it for...
No bowl games?
I mean, the thing is with bowl games, you can go to like 5. Because it's...
I mean, yeah, but like just pick one.
I mean, I'm going to whatever Minnesota's at.
Okay. Nice to be creative.
Okay. Rose Bowl.
Okay. So one that... I mean, you did say Minnesota wasn't going to go to Rose Bowl, so that's totally creative.
Going to the Rose Bowl.
You said they are?
Yeah, if they lose in the Big Ten championship and Ohio State goes to the playoff, they're going to the Rose Bowl.
Okay, let's just take you off the ledge real quick. It's okay. I mean, my ceiling for y'all was citrus, but that's my ceiling for a lot of these Big Ten programs. Anywho, the game I will go to is the Cotton Bowl.
Ooh.
Yeah, because you see the way that the whole playoff situation works out. The Peach Bowl is in Atlanta, and Georgia's already picked twice, so I can't pick that. Fiesta Bowl, Arizona's cool, but like...
It's actually hot.
Yeah, it's hot, but it's also New Year's Eve. So like when you're watching a game and you want to celebrate New Year's, like I was watching the Georgia game on my phone on New Year's Eve. You pay like attention to it a lot, but also you're not paying attention to your friends, your family. Like, yeah, no, just abolish football games on New Year's Eve. It's just a bad decision. But I'm giving Cotton January 2nd. It's on a Monday. People will still have off because it's observed. You can enjoy your whole football game. Not worry about a damn thing. Also, I love Dallas too. Shout out Whataburger.
Shout out. So that's it. Obviously, we're going to the national title game. That's kind of an obvious one. Where is the national title game this year?
It is. I got to put it back my glasses because I was disappointed in you. Why is it back in Indy?
It's not back in Indy.
Okay, I don't know why the football schedule has it.
I'm on FB schedules.
That's what I said. I'm on FB schedules too.
The heck? Isn't it like
it's LA? It's LA. I don't know why I put Indy on there.
Oh, it's at SoFi. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they put Indy on there. That's why I was confused too.
Okay. I'm going to end this episode with a take. Maybe it's a bad take.
Okay, go for it.
Should the college football national championship always be at the Rose Bowl?
No.
Why?
See, as much as I hate the fact that a lot of these bowl games try to be stickler, like for example, the Sugar Bowl should not be on January 1st. It wasn't always on January 1st. They moved it around a few times. Like they should not be a pain in the ass like the Rose Bowl is. I like the Rose Bowl because the Rose Bowl is probably the only game that's not a playoff game or a championship game that's has its own tier of reverence. I like the Big Ten versus the Pac-12. I like the Big Ten versus the Pac-12. You got that right. I like the fact that it starts around 5:00 Eastern. I like the fact that it sunsets. If you have a national title game there that doesn't follow the Rose Bowl traditions like we've had in the past, yeah, you might get a USC Texas amazing game at the Rose Bowl. Same time, you might get a stinker of Miami, Nebraska, or you might get a game that kind of got dark by Alabama and Texas with Colt McCoy getting injured. Like the pageantry of it's one of the last remaining beacons of the pageantry of college football. See all these teams moving to 9 games or 8 games, all these rivalries get split up because of realignment, the eventual division of the P5 and the G5, and about how some teams will definitely fall off. Like some things should be kept sacred. Like I feel like what the best thing that came out of the first realignment, like first fix of the BCS was creating a separate title game that rotates among the sites. So that way the roles, like for example, Rose Bowl would be the national title, but it wouldn't take away from the other teams that are worthy of a BCS bid. And it also has its own day, its own thing. It's not overlapping. You know what I mean? So it doesn't overlap. It's not, here's a national championship. Also, it's the Rose Bowl versus here's a national championship. Here's a Rose Bowl. Like it still has its own importance. I mean, that's the way I'm saying. I'm sorry, I got roundabout way, but
so you're saying we have a Rose Bowl and a national title?
Yes, I like having that separation because the Rose Bowl is still revered, but it won't be minimized by the fact that there's a national title game later on. Like, when every time somebody does a poll and it's like, what's the most important I need to speak. What is the most important game outside of the national title? The answer is always the Rose Bowl.
Army Navy.
I was talking about bowl games, Wilson. Although Commander-in-Chief is a trophy, but that's not dependent solely on Army Navy. But yes, bowl game, most important bowl game outside of the national title, the answer is always Rose Bowl.
I don't know. I feel like, what if we had a Rose Bowl game and the national title was just at the Rose Bowl, like a week later?
That's what happened. That's what I told you. So 2006 to 2010, they rotated it. So you would have the actual Rose Bowl game, and then that following Monday, they'd have the national title at the Rose Bowl. That's what happened with Alabama and Texas. Yes, because that 2010 Rose Bowl was it either Oregon, Ohio State, or was it? Yeah, Oregon, Ohio State that year, I believe. Yeah.
Was it?
So 2010.
I will Google.
Because I think that was Jeremiah Mazzoli.
I said Oregon.
Jeremiah Mazzoli. Yep. Yeah, so this game was separate from the actual national title game that was at the Rose Bowl, which was Alabama and Texas.
Yeah.
So, they have it being separate. Like, that I'm okay with. I don't want the game to actually replace the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, overlap. National title presented by the Rose Bowl or whatever.
Yeah, that would suck. But I just want to get the national title at the Rose Bowl Stadium in Pasadena. I don't want it to be that the Rose Bowl is who wins the national title.
Okay. I mean, I'm okay with that. I just I don't want it to be the predominant one, but how, for example, Army and Navy, they'll play in Philadelphia 7 out of 10. And then one year they'll go to Baltimore, another year they go to New York, and another year they'll go out West. Yeah, exactly. They'll rotate. But yeah, no, if you have a Rose Bowl in Pasadena, 7 out of 10, it'd be totally fine.
Yeah, I just don't like national championships in NFL stadiums.
Yeah, they suck. Outside Indianapolis.
Indy is cool because I think Indy's probably one of the best stadiums in the NFL, especially for holding different events. But
I was also being a homer.
Hard Rock, yuck. I don't want to. I mean, I probably need to see one at Allegiant first. I don't want to see one at SoFi at all.
I don't like conference. So, like, for example, like SEC in the Georgia Dome / Mercedes Benz, totally okay with. Like when they had the big, the Pac-12 championship game at Levi's, it was so dead. Like they went back to, like, it was just the worst thing ever. Like I think Allegiant probably is better in that sense, but it's still like, I don't know. It's also a West Coast thing because I don't think it would actually work in like NFL stadium in the West. Like you can pull it off at Atlanta. You can pull it off in Charlotte. You can pull it off in Indy.
New Orleans.
Yeah, you can pull it off in New Orleans. You can pull it off in a lot of these spots. Like the only one I'm questioning is the Big 12 because Jerry World's cool, but like
it sucks for college football. It is.
Yeah, awful. It sucks for college football. Like they've had it before at Arrowhead. They've had it before at Alamo Dome. Like they've had it at other locations. It's just
like A&M at Arkansas in Jerry World sucks.
It does.
Like leave that for the NFL. It's cool. It works for the NFL, but college is a different animal that needs a different trainer.
Yeah, no, like the thing is, like what I liked about the Big 12 before they made it to Jerry World completely was that they rotated. So it wasn't just Jerry World. It was Arrowhead. They had Alamo. They had Reliant. They had the Edward Jones Dome. Like they rotated a lot. Like you just made things. Yeah, I know it's a throwback. I'm actually on the wiki right now. But yeah, they rotated a lot because it's also like a lot bigger footprint. And now that you have teams coming in from the Cincinnati, BYU, like you kind of have to rotate. It's just because of the geographical footprint. You just can't have one thing at one single location.
Yep. And on that bombshell, I think that's a good place to end this episode. Appreciate everyone for listening. If you have any feedback on our road trips, please let us know in the comments below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that stuff that everybody tells you to do with their podcast. If you're on the YouTube, subscribe, Spotify, Apple, follow. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, TPortalCFB, and everybody have a good day.
Thank y'all.